When you've lost access to my LinkedIn account, the application is disabled.
It says it's gone live though.
Yeah, you're live, Mel.
Hi everyone. Sorry, a little technical glitch there. What an exciting day for us, everybody, and thank you, everyone, for your wonderful support. We are here today talking to you as published authors of quite a wonderful book, if I may say so myself, called Awakened Leaders, How to Become the Leader the World Needs Now. Thank you, Beryl. Beryl and Rebecca. Yay! We've got our copies. So this is an opportunity, whether you're watching here with us live, and if you are, then please give us a wave, give us a comment, ask any questions that you have. We'd love to hear from you, but this is an opportunity for us to just share a little more with you about, what is the book really all about? What's our vision for the book? Why did we decide to create it? And of course, that's going to be different for everyone that we have here. So it's like I say, share your questions, and this is an opportunity for us to just give you a little bit of we're going to pull back the curtains and give you a little bit of a behind the scenes of how it's felt, right, to write this book. Because, ladies, am I right in saying it's quite a journey, right?
Yeah, for sure.
It's quite an emotional, cathartic journey. And whilst we're not necessarily going to go into all of the detail of that, people will share what they want to. There's nothing like the feeling, and it's actually quite a weird kind of discombobulating, I love that word, feeling to think, wow, I'm a writer, I'm a published author. So we'll tell you a little bit about that too. So first up, let's do some little introductions. So, Beryl, do you want to just share a little bit about who you are?
Yeah, so I'm Beryl Prishman. I've been living in Edinburgh for 17 years now, and I'm the owner of Trip Organiser Limited Scotland, and we're a small tour operator in Edinburgh.
Yeah, they're way more than that. They're a really wonderful, family-focused tour company and trip organiser who, when you decide to book through them and with them, it's like receiving a big hug and it's like going on holiday with a family that you want to go on holiday with. Because let's face it, we don't always want to go on holiday with our family, right? Some people do, some people don't. Great. Rebecca?
Hello. So I'm Rebecca, and it's been a joy to work on this. I am the founder of Big Brand Love and the co-founder of Good Shift, and I'm a marketing and brand expert.
Yes. Expert. That's the word that was in my mind. Expert, indeed.
Took a moment to say it.
Wonderful, thank you. Elaine, do you want to just give us a little introduction?
Thanks, Mel. Hi, folks. I'm Elaine. I'm a mum. I work full-time, and I run a property company, two property companies, one called Clackan Home Buyers and one called Prospera Property, both of which are designed to help people to get on a better footing through property.
Yes. And again, like another, sorry, I didn't actually talk about your companies, but we will. Yeah. But what I love about your business, and actually I think you talk about this in your chapter, right, is that it is really about empowerment through property. Like that's kind of at the core and at the heart of what it is that you want to do. And at the heart of your business, Bex, and two businesses, would you say that it's about really kind of elevating? To me, your business feels like a big burst of energy, Big Brand Love. It's like, let's get you out there. Let's get everyone out there in the world understanding who you are, why you're fabulous, why you do what you do. And you're the woman to help them do that, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's it. My style is all about energy. So.
Amazing. So, and of course, if you have read their chapters, you will know about this stuff. And if not, have you got your copy? Yeah. I've put the link really helpfully in the comments. Please do buy your copy today, because by you buying your copy, and it's very easy. The ebook is only 99p for today. The paper book is available It is available from tomorrow. You might see it today, but it's officially available from tomorrow. And the more people that we reach with this message, the more women will benefit through Women for Women International. We're donating all of the profits from the book to that charity. And they're a really wonderful charity. I've supported them for a great number of years now. What they do is they help to instill leadership skills in women from developing countries and conflict-ridden countries. Excuse me, I've got a very tickly throat. I want to assure you, this is not vodka, although it looks like it.
Well, you can well, maybe vodka would be better.
Actually, see, look, sound like I'm drinking vodka.
Sounds like you could do with one, Mel.
Well, let's save that for later, shall we? Oh, that's Beryl. Okay, so let's start with Beryl. Do you want to just share a little bit, Beryl, about what was it that made you want to step in and say yes to this opportunity?
I always want to say you. I only started working with Mel a couple of months ago now. And you were like,
it's been longer than that. It just feels, it's because we have
like
so much friends.
Right?
Exactly.
So yeah, Mel was like, do you want to be part of this exciting multi-author book? And I was like, okay, if you say so. And we all laughed because I completely got it wrong. I thought we were meant to write double of what we were meant to write. So I obviously wrote a lot, which is probably just as well. We didn't have to write that much. So I literally had to start from scratch again, rewrote the whole thing. But as she said, very cathartic. And it was all about sending out a message to kind of, help people maybe learn from, basically mistakes you make yourself. To maybe not do them like you did. So that was quite nice. So it was good fun to write it. But of course you had like those weeks of, how am I going to do this? But we all supported each other, which was brilliant. It's like, Women for Women, the charity is literally what we did amongst ourselves, wasn't it? It was Women for Women. Like we had these regular catch-ups and it was just so nice to hear what everyone had to say and how everyone was going about it. And it was,
I think there's been some really beautiful friendships and relationships born from creating the book as well, hasn't there? I mean, I've really loved to see that because I think I was kind of the common denominator for everybody, right? And so I knew how wonderful everybody was already, and then to get everyone to kind of find that out about each other has been great. And now guess what? You all get to find that out too. And I think that's one of the things I've really loved about this process is this has felt so different for me because it's about me being able to really help other women that I know have a very powerful message to raise their visibility and share their voice in a really powerful way that it's going to make a really magnificent difference in the world and create such a positive ripple effect. And that's why we want you to buy your copy if you haven't already. I'm going to do this the whole way, by the way. So I'm just prepared. So just click the put me out of my misery, right? And click the Rebecca, what about you? What was it that made you want to say yes? And what was that process like for you? Did it feel like an easy yes? Was there a journey involved?
Do you know, it's so funny because you talk about a full body yes. And if you buy the book today, you'll be able to read about how I'm an intuitive person. And when you asked me very kindly, then I didn't even hesitate. I just said yes. And then I worried later about writing it, what I was going to write about. So it was a full-on sort of full in your body. Yes, absolutely, 100%. And it was a privilege to be part of it. It really was, and sit alongside all of you wonderful women and share our stories together and create those friendships and go through the learning exercise of writing those chapters, because that in itself was a big part of it, was going through the learning experience of writing it and that process. There was a moment for me where I kind of did the same thing. I went a bit over, shall we say, on the word count. And so I had to go back and revise it. But probably about a week before deadline, I was like, I've only got a little bit of polishing left to do. It's nearly there, no problem. And I sat down and I went, oh, God, it's nowhere where it needs to be. So I got myself into this place where I was trying to get it into shape in the last few days. So that in itself was
But Dina really
experience.
helped, didn't she? Like,
Yeah.
she helped
yeah,
us
she was
with
good.
the story arch and how to kind of put it right and what to put at the beginning, what to put at the end. So it just really helped to kind of structure your thoughts. So it was really
Thoroughly enjoyable.
And I was just going to say before we come to Elaine, just thank you to Dina as well. She's not in this conversation, but Dina Berman is the publisher, the founder of Inspired World Publishing, and they have published this book. And it was actually Dina came to me at the end of last year and said, "Hey Mel, I've had a thought. Would you like to create a book where you curate the authors, because I've contributed to some books that she's produced before." And I had a full body yes. And I was like, oh my God, yes, this sounds like the best idea ever. So thank you, Dina. And Elaine, tell us, how did you feel about, the question, the ask, do you want to be involved in this? How was that journey for you?
Oh, do you know, I think we've all got stories to tell. Everybody's got stories, and I've always thought there was a book in me.
Yeah.
Turns out there's at least a chapter in me. So, it was a instant, I'm going to do this, because at that point, I hadn't been working with you that long, Mel, but it was like, opportunities come. You need to say yes to them, and this was an opportunity. I was like, I'm going to say yes. And I did it in the evenings, and it was great. Just cathartic, really cathartic. But I would sit here, at the table, my partner's over there, maybe watching telly or on his phone or something, and the tears are streaming down my face. And you just got to get all that out, haven't you? Got to get that story out. And it was an immediate yes, I'm going to do that. And a bit like Bex is saying, then it was like,
and that, am I sure? Yeah.
Am I doing this?
Everyone, I'm the one that had to navigate all those worries and concerns. Well, you were going to do it anyway.
It's the title, isn't it? You're like, am I a leader? Am I this? Am I that?
Absolutely.
You know what? See now that I've written it and I've read it, and I had someone in last night, and a friend of mine, and reading it, and you could see the emotion in him. So absolutely, I'm delighted that I've done it. It was brilliant, and thank you for the opportunity.
Oh, you're so very welcome.
I was just going to say, let's just take a moment, to shine some light onto Mel for us together. It's I mean, we're all, any of us that have ever worked with you have been so lucky and privileged to have your guidance and your wisdom.
Thank you.
And
absolutely,
what I'm very, very grateful for that.
Thank you.
No, absolutely.
But in terms of bringing us together for the book, it's been such a wonderful opportunity. So thank you.
Thank you.
Kudos.
And it's funny when you were telling that story about sitting with the tears flowing. So when I contributed my first chapter, I remember how cathartic but how potent all of the emotions were, and how much it really helped me process a lot, particularly around losing my dad, and how I healed and recovered from my breakdown and my burnout. And so Charlie, my partner, we'd be driving in the camper van at the time, or the car, and he'd look over and he'd just say, "Is that your face leaking again? Is that?" He would just, that's what my name was, Leaky Face, because there was just so much emotion to process. And I think there's nothing like, writing is such a powerful conduit for emotion, for, it actually helps you understand some of what you experienced in a much more deeper and embodied way by writing it to share with others. It's just it's kind of a magical process, isn't it? And I love what you said at the start, Elaine, which is, I always thought I had a book in me. I know that probably 60 to 80% of the people who read the book, who are listening to this, who are in our lives, feel the same, but perhaps haven't ever thought it's possible for them, or haven't ever really haven't done that, taken that action, or perhaps sought out the opportunity because it's never came knocking. And I would love to say to all of them, and I'm sure you all have a message too, if this is a dream that you harbor, there's nothing to stop you from doing it too. If we can do it, there's nothing to stop you doing it. And
Go for it.
I think at the heart of the book,
go for
from
it.
my
Yeah.
and from my perspective, at the heart of this book was legacy,
Yeah.
right?
You pass something on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, and I think that's a question that I asked, that I explored with all of you through the writing process, right? Was, what is that cause that you would die on a hill for? What is that legacy that you want to leave through your words and your message? Do you want to just share a little bit more perhaps about that? Should we start with you, Elaine? Is it okay to start with you for that question?
Yeah, and it's funny, just when you're chatting there. So the book arrived here yesterday. The book, like
This book here?
yeah, that one, yeah, that you can buy online now, for 99 pence. And my son was here, and we were flicking through it, and he saw the picture of me in the book, and he's like, "Mommy, you're in a book."
Yeah.
Like, did you write that? And it was just, he's only 5, so but it's so important for them to see that you can do whatever you put your mind to, but it's opportunities, and we don't all get the same opportunity in life. And I'm so aware of that in the work that I do, and also through the business. I want to provide opportunities for people to just get to a better stage in their life, or a better place in their life. So yeah, it's writing this has meant so much to me, and I think for the family, for everyone to see that you can do whatever you put your heart and soul into, but also the awareness of the opportunities and the inequality of opportunity that exists out there, and that's heartbreaking. And I think what we've done through the book hopefully gives some people some hope, and they're able to learn from some of the things that we've gone through.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think, the paperback will cost more than the ebook. So the ebook has been launched at 99p. I mean, it's a really democratic price point, right? People who have access to the internet, who might want that type of inspiration and strategy, because there's very practical tips and, here's what you can do. Take these steps. It will help you get from here to there.
Yeah.
We wanted to have the stories, right? But we also wanted to include very practical strategies for people. But the paperback will be retailing at around £10, around £9.99. And all the proceeds, as we said, will go to charity, and it'll go to a really wonderful charity. And I think that was something that felt important to all of us too, wasn't it? That we're able to, tangibly give back through this process, as well as, through our words, kind of share wisdom with the world. Yeah. What about you, Bex?
What my cost would be to die on a hill for? So what?
And what's at the heart of, like, I suppose, what it is you want your chapter to give, as it were.
So my key message essentially is that we have this opportunity as a generation, all people, to change the way that we live and the way that we work in order to change the world. And ultimately, I believe that can be through a form of love, what I call love leadership. And I say in the chapter, the anti-mushy brigade might hate it, but who cares?
That's fine. You're not our people. But read the book anyway. You might learn something.
But essentially, I've sat in a lot of debates recently. I was at a recent dinner with WACL, which is Women in Advertising Communications Leadership, and the Marketing Societies and their fellows. And there are so many debates that happen on a regular basis about how we achieve a better level of leadership and how that can happen. But one of the things I find about some of those conversations is that they can quite often fall into silo buckets or divided areas, whether it be for women or different groups. And my feeling is that we all need to work hard to create a new level of leadership that everybody can access, that is available to everybody, for everybody, and that we can all move towards, so that it's accessible and it's achievable and it's something that we can all aspire to. And my thinking is, at the end of the day, we can all lean into. I actually say in the chapter, don't lean in, but
you mean a different lean?
Different kind of lean in.
Not the Sheryl Sandberg.
Not the Sheryl Sandberg.
Definitely.
But we've all got this opportunity, to step into a form of leadership which is entirely based on love and compassion, kindness for the greater good. And at the end of the day, that we know, we have evidence, we know that that style of leadership is going to give better results for the world, for the planet, and for profit. So why wouldn't we want to do it?
Exactly.
So that's my call to arms.
Yeah. And I think as well, the timing of, you know, we're not the only ones who feel like this. And that's kind of, again, why we wrote this book, for other people like us, like you, who feel like this, because I think so many of us are out there looking around at the world going, what the fuck is going on? Like, this isn't right. You know, the way that we're, you know, our politicians are corrupt. They're making decisions for our country that are fundamentally flawed. You know, the way that our financial systems work, and the access that, for example, women have to money is completely broken. You know, there's just so many, you know, people who live in disadvantaged communities and have much poorer attainment levels. Like, there's so much we need to do better. Our healthcare system, we need to do better in so many ways. And I think that's the golden thread through every chapter, is that everyone has, like, we all share that core belief and that core desire for the world, and each of us are kind of contributing. It's almost like we each have a unique thread that we're weaving with this book.
It's
a tapestry.
Exactly. Yeah. And Beryl, what about you? What did you want to share?
Just yesterday at our seminar, we talked about kind of modernly tapping into ancient, probably female in the sense of feminine. That's a good one. Feminine knowledge, and that's probably where I'm coming from. I just love, you know, leading by intuition, leading with the heart, and trusting your own body, and it's all in you, and everyone has it in them, and like going back to there and finding what's in there and just kind of externalizing it again. And we were taught in probably the recent 1,000 years to not do that, to kind of think whatever science or something else is above it, but it's not. Like, it comes from here, and we know best, and then we can recreate it. And it's like you said, in the ancient world, this was the way how things were taught.
It was balanced, like
firstly, and it was kind of taught from one person to the other, for one female probably to the children, and then, you know, it passed on this way, and knowledge was always there, and then suddenly it was disintegrated, and we want to bring it back together, and that's where
it almost feels for me a wee bit like, you know, it's about taking off our armor, you know, and not managing or leading in the way we've been taught to, but actually just feeling more natural and
authentic,
empathy, and and for me, just that approach. And it's all about, for me, it's all about relationships. It's all about relationships, everything we do. And if we can feel into that, I think it makes such a difference.
But also allow yourself to be you know, not try to fit into a blueprint of what you should be in society. If you think you're not fitting, then just find the frame that fits you. Because I think that a lot of people live a life and they're always a little bit unhappy just because they're not actually their own strength. And it's like, it's askew, it's imbalance in that sense. And if you could bring it back together, and you might be like sideways or whatever shape you want, but that's how, like, once it fits, and then you're happy, and everyone else is happy around you. Because I think even like being around a person who's not quite in the shape they want to be, it's awkward for everyone. So that's probably why a lot of the society is also broken, because everyone's trying to fit in rather than just being who they are, you know.
It's like there's so many people, I think, that on the inside, it's like that Edward Munch painting, this, you know,
screaming
you're feeling, but you just have put on this face to the outside, right? It's true, right? And one of the things I wanted to share, actually, Beryl, is Beryl, your chapter, you talk about the fact that you had 2 babies at the age of 47 and 49. I mean, wow, that's just absolutely incredible. I know you touched on your journey as well, Elaine, in your chapter as well, right? But since I've already spoken to 2 people who, when they heard that, said, oh my God, maybe there's hope for me, right? 2 people. In the space of 24 hours. And that is exactly the essence. That's exactly what you wanted your chapter to...
It's never too late for anything.
It's never too late.
So
it's such a powerful lesson, right? It's never too late. do you want to, is there anything more you would say, does anyone want to share anything more around like the flavour of your chapter in any way?
They need to buy the book.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's true.
hey, buy the book, guys. Buy the
It's true.
book.
It's
Much
true.
is it, Rebecca?
I mean, look at it. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, right? FOMO. Do you really want to wonder?
Don't miss out.
Do you want to?
Yeah.
Do you want to leave yourself
Don't miss
wondering for the rest of your days what is in this beautiful book? Plus,
Or do you want to just read it?
exactly. Plus, your support helps charity. If we can hit bestseller status, we will get an even bigger reach, and even more people will be able to not only gain access to what we believe is a really wonderful contribution to the world, but we'll raise more money for charity as well. So there we go. Another plug, ladies. Well done.
I saw another plug on from someone else, I suppose, but some brilliant person who's obviously been waiting for the launch of the book, and it came out this morning. They obviously read it at breakneck speed, and they've already given it a 5-star review. Can you believe it?
I can believe it. I've read it. Of course, it's going to get a 5-star review.
It's incredible. So we're already getting 5-star reviews. So that's amazing. So so buy the book.
I have to say, I was surprised when someone like, Mel, there's a 5-star review. I was like, wow, already?
That was
I
quick.
know. And see, the thing for me, so I was reading it last night, and I'd read all the chapters before because we'd seen them all, we'd shared them all before, but I was reading it in my bed last night, and in terms of a leadership book, it's easy to read. You could read this on the beach.
So easy.
It's a lovely book to read. It really is. Yeah. And
because it's
have a
stories.
tissue with you, because there's a lot of emotion in there.
Yeah,
Definitely.
It's really truly lovely.
It's true, right?
It's a
Definitely
weekly.
bring the
It's a weekly.
tissues. And you might, there might be some guys out there thinking, oh, it's all women. That's not on purpose. This was not a women's book or anything like that. I work with some wonderful male clients. Hello, you know who you are, who were invited to contribute, but just didn't have the capacity to do so. Of course, like we wrote this for you. If you're a good person who might be feeling disillusioned, right? Who might be looking around and feeling like, restless, feeling that sense of just disillusioned with the status quo, thinking, I think like there must be more for me. There must be more for this world. That's who this book is for, right? I mean, it really is for anybody. I think pretty much anyone could pick this up and enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's not an academic kind of leadership book.
Or
corporate.
It's not academic or corporate. No.
Now, there is a wonderful chapter by Robin, who I'll be speaking to later. She is an academic. She's been doing a PhD on love as a leadership character trait for the 21st century. How cool is that? So she has included some of that academic study and rigor around the power of love in business, which I just think is so wonderful. But she also tells a very powerful story of how she's experienced life as a woman of color in America growing up. And it's just yes, there's rigor in there. We've got research in there, but it's a highly accessible book filled with great stories. And the reason, that we picked this launch date is we really wanted to get it out there in time for holiday or vacation season, right?
Yeah.
Like we want you to take it and lie on your sun lounger. And I know already I've had quite a few messages from people saying, oh, great, I go on holiday at the weekend. I'm going to read this on my sun lounger.
I got the same,
from people, which is great.
This morning saying, oh, yeah, great. I'm just going on holiday like tomorrow or on Monday. So, sun lounger reading.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think the thing just about reading the chapters, everybody's chapter is just from the heart, and ultimately we're all human beings and we like connecting with hument beings and personal stories, and it's a very human book because of the way it's written, and I think therefore most people will they'll enjoy it, like you say, Elaine. It's a really good read. It's
it's good fun as well.
Definitely.
Not just tissues. Laugh.
Beryl, yours was funny.
So, ladies, is there anything else that feels important that you would love to share about the book?
I just think people need to buy it. And read it.
Yeah.
It's too much away.
And then they
Because
need
at
to
the end of
knock
the
at your
day-
door and say, I want to write one now.
Yeah.
So there's
Well, yeah, I mean, I've definitely got a waiting list of people who didn't get into this book who are keen to be in the
Yeah.
next book if there is another book. I mean,
Yeah.
that there's no guarantee around that. So yeah, I mean, if you're like, oh, could I? Then definitely drop me a message, because if you're thinking, could I ever do this? Then I would be, gladly have a coffee, or I'm sure any of us would gladly have a coffee with you to talk
Of
to you
course,
about the process involved, and the fact that one of the things that I think is so wonderful about it is that it is about you're not doing it alone.
Yeah.
Like there's that strength in community. And I have a question for each of you. So you said you've got a book in you. You knew you had a book in you. Now you know you've got a chapter. Has this whet your appetite? Do you think you'll do some more?
Oh, absolutely. I would love to. I would love to keep going. Honestly, I would love to keep going. And I just, I don't know what form it will take, but definitely,
Amazing.
It's a bit of a bug, isn't it? I think once you start, it feels like a bit of a bug. And you've been talking about this before, Mel, about doing something creative and that being your kind of play and your fun part, your time to relax. And I think I found it.
Wow.
I really think this is it.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Great. And you would?
Yeah. I talked to you about it.
Yeah.
So practice to see, because I've always talked about it. Then when you're actually doing it, you're like, can I actually do it?
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
then I was like, okay.
Yeah. And next time, depending on, you might know that you don't need to double the work, right?
No.
Double the what is it?
No, I'm not writing 2 books just to get one out.
Yeah, Beryl submitted 6,000 words on the day of the deadline, and 3,000 words were required. So there was quite an interesting process that unfolded. And Rebecca,
Chaos pilot always.
I absolutely. I'm like, yes, I'm going to start writing now all the time. And actually, I'm now in the habit of writing every single morning.
Good.
So I get up every morning, have a cup of coffee, and sit down and write before I look at my phone or think about anything in the world. And I do that for about 40 minutes every morning. And it's such a great practice.
Yes,
that sounded really cool.
And that's a really lovely thing to do. Like, is there any advice you would share? I love how you kind of shared some practical advice. Is there any advice you would share for someone who wants to kind of start seriously thinking about, okay, I'd love to start writing as a practice? What's your advice, Elaine?
Well, I suppose for me, I've got kids, work, got the businesses, so for me, and Mel, this, it was always about, where's my time? When is my time? So I think finding the best time in the day for you to do it. And for me, it was after 7:30, I'd done my day's work, the kids were sorted, and I could, there was chaos in the house, but that's okay. I could find that time, commit to that and sit down. And even if it was for half an hour, see, once you start typing or writing, whether you're in a notepad and pen or whether you're in the laptop, just start. Yeah. And it'll just flow out. Yeah. And don't try and edit it. Don't edit it. Just let it go.
Yes,
go.
thank you. Yeah, I'm so glad you said that, because I think there's actually a term in the literary world called a shitty first draft. Yeah. And it's an official term. And it is, it really, it is. It's like it's used by editors. And the whole point is, in order to create momentum and actually get the essence out, you just write and you don't edit, and then you do really good editing and you rewrite and you cut and you edit and you organize. But if you try and do that as you go through, it's a very constipated process, right? Do you know what I mean? It's a very, creatively, creatively, it's very, I think that's a good way. I think we all know how that feels. I think that's a good way of describing it. Would you add anything to that, Beryl?
Yeah, well, in one of our calls, I said, you know how I'm going to do it? I'm going to have a glass of wine. And when I can feel that, I'm going to write it all down. And I think I did the extreme version of it.
Yeah, clearly there was more than a glass if it was 6,000 words, but anyway. There was a magnum.
I just saw double.
A
See,
couple,
so I
a
did
couple
double.
of magnums involved there.
Yeah, anyway, so exactly that. So just like not censor yourself, just kind of write it all down, and then actually did work. Obviously I wrote far too much, but then I was able to actually, okay, what do I actually want to say, and then I did it again
with your framework.
Correct.
Yeah.
Whereas beforehand, I just didn't know. I just had to get it all out first.
Yeah.
Was that harder, Beryl, doing it the second time?
No, it was actually so much easier. It was,
Right.
because the first time, because I was thinking I had to stretch it, I was actually rambling and going into tangents because I thought I knew the words. And once I knew how many words, I was like, oh, that's better. But also, I think by then I knew what I really wanted to say. So honestly, I just rejigged it all. So, okay, this, and then just did it again.
Yeah, your arc, right? You need a story arc. You need that narrative arc.
So I thought I had one, but clearly I didn't for the first time.
The other thing I was going to say actually is I don't know about you guys, but my chapter was like living in my brain. I mean, this is probably the way my brain works as well, because it gets like hyper focused. So when I was doing the writing of the chapter, for the number of weeks that I was doing it, it was just constantly writing in. It was constantly writing in my head, which was quite. I don't know. It's quite.
It's
bizarre,
probably nice
because you kind of get
I did the same. I left it till like super last minute, and then it was all here. And then
I started way ahead, and then panicked 4 days before because it wasn't in the shape I wanted it to be in. And then it's fine. But during the whole period that I sat down at the beginning to start writing it, to the day that I sent it off to Mel and Dina, then my brain was just going tick 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 tick. I was constantly writing it, and filling in extra bits and stuff. It's amazing
how much you actually have in your head.
And if you kind of have trust, if you kind of trust yourself and just see what happens, then it's amazing what kind of comes out.
But I think that's why your exercise is so good, because it is better to actually write it down and then edit it rather than trying to do it all in your head, because it gets
all tangled.
I know, and it just makes you, because for 3 or 4 weeks I felt like stressed in the sense of I need to be creative here, like what's going on, and I thought, well, why don't you sit down and do it? It's probably sometimes better to just
I think when that pen touches the paper, or your fingers touch the keyboard, what I've learned through being in the process of writing and kind of becoming a writer, if you like, over the last 3 or 4 years, is what really helps is doing the writing and not just thinking about doing the writing. You're not a writer if you're thinking about writing. You're a writer if you write, right? And so that's really important. And just enjoy it. Don't judge yourself. Have fun with it. It's funny listening to you all, because when I did my first chapter, I immediately said yes to doing another book straight away, and so then I had like another 12 weeks to do another chapter, and then I was like, okay, I'm going to take a break. Like, that was a lot, and this actually was the next book. I've written a lot since then in terms of through my business and things, but this was the next thing where I thought, okay, what do I want to create here? And whilst I have some writing in there, for me, the creativity was about the curation of other people's stories, and that, which was really wonderful as well, because I think creativity comes in so many forms. So please, if this is a dream that you have, we just all think, go for it. Get going, start to write something, don't judge it, have fun with it. Definitely. Wonderful. Wonderful.
One more time.
Go on, buy it, everybody.
Click the link, please. Women. Thank you. And whether you're watching this live or watching this on catch up, we just want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts for your support. We would love your support to share the book far and wide. We would love you to buy it. You now know that. We'd love you to, we would love you to share it, because it's algorithms on social media are really unpredictable, weird things, but social media and the internet is also a wonderful network when you use it, when you focus on relationships. And so what we're doing today is we're reaching out to all the people we know, and we're saying, hey, support us. And we're saying, and if you could do that with the people that then, and they do that, just a couple of 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon. We might even get Kevin Bacon to buy the book today.
Come on, Kevin.
Come on, Kevin. Kevin, buy the book. So you get the picture. But thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you, Mel.
Applause.
Nice to see you all.
Wonderful to see you. And we will see you tomorrow, Elaine, for
We
the
will.
party. We're having a party to celebrate the book launch. And
I'll be there.
message we might be able to sneak in. Wonderful. Okay, take care, everybody. Thank you so much. Lovely to see you, Elaine.
Bye. See you, everyone.
Bye.